Today's program is brought to you by Indiana 529. It's Indiana's 529 education savings plan, offering a simple and tax-smart way to save for children or grandchildren's future education experiences and expenses. You can open an account for as little as $10. I encourage you to go to myindiana529.com today. And here's why. It's a little secret. It's not actually, the point of a promotion is to make something that isn't a secret and not a secret. Here it is. You can enter a chance to win $10,000. Do you know how good I would feel about my entire life if you listened to this podcast to hear some jokes and some financial stuff, and you heard about the opportunity to win $10,000 from myindiana529.com, and you won, and then you sent me an email and you're like, thanks, buddy. So anyway, go to indiana529.com today. This is what I have personally used for 16 years to save for my kids' college education. Of course, terms and conditions apply. Just go to myindiana529.com to learn more. Kristen Elanius joins me. We set up a myindiana529.com account for her on the air a couple months ago. Hello, Kristen.
Hello, Pete.
And by for her, I mean for Maggie, little baby. And Damian Dunn also has some of those accounts. Hello, Dame.
I was just checking the balances now. See? There you go. There they were.
You know what? Makes me want to check the balances. We've had some tremendous market activity in the last day. The last couple of days have been pretty wild. Let's start here. The Fed meets on Monday. They're right. They're Monday. Usually, don't they meet on Wednesdays? Why are they meeting on Monday? They meet on Monday.
Some tea times later in the week.
Okay. What do? We guessed last week, I believe, or the week before. We are guessing again because things have happened, good and bad, and everywhere in between. Chris, what happens?
I feel like 0.25% is a safe guess, right?
Okay, Dame.
I'm going to go with 25 basis points.
That's odd. I'm going to go with a 0.25 point myself. There was a moment, what's today, Friday? On Wednesday, and I was, when the price producer or the producer index came out or whatever, producer price index came out, and it was lower. And I was like, oh, we're going to get a 0.5 point reduction. And then the next day CPI came out and it went up. So there you go. You guys, I live in a town known for, Dame, other than swimming, what is my town known for?
Roundabouts.
Sure. And how about the people?
Well,
pass to Kristen if you want to make her feel uncomfortable.
Like exactly what description of the demographic do you want me to go with here?
Okay, how about I just tell you the story and you tell me if this lines up with what you're doing. Picture this, Kristen. I'm at a high school football contest last Friday night. Okay, I'm there watching my daughter cheer for other people's sports, which is also an activity and a sport for herself. So anyway, she's a high school cheerleader. She's cheering. I'm clapping for her, watching the game. It's a good time. Behind me are two gentlemen who have a 15-minute conversation about their Rolexes. Oh, they're right behind me. And it is happening. I'm giving side eye to Mrs. Planner. And I'm like, is this real? Is this real?
Is this real?
And this one guy is like, yeah, I buy one every year. I just keep them and figure they're collectibles for my kids or whoever else. But yeah, definitely. He's like, I got like 26 of them. And I'm just sitting there. And I'm like, what world is this? Dame, did that meet the mark?
Yeah, I think that's a much better way to paint the picture than my feeble words would have done.
Kristen?
I gasped and my dog got up to come over to check on me. And I feel, as the kids say, that was on brand.
I don't know. Whatever. Different strokes for different folks. It's just really on the nose to hear two people have that conversation. I don't know. Just like, you're a fly on the wall and you're hearing of like, wow, wow. All right.
I mean, I appreciate a good timepiece as much as the next guy, but I don't know. It's you got to spend your money on something, I guess. And if they want to wrap up, countless tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in watches, then that's their call.
All right. Today's show is brought about because I sent a link to the team to read today that touches on one of my favorite moments of the year. Is when we hear about Americans' confidence in their ability to retire. I was explaining to our colleague Savannah here this morning. She asked what the show was about. I was telling her about it. And I was explaining how I love to nerd out about this topic because it just is, it's truly unbelievable to me how confident, according to these surveys, the average American is in their ability to successfully retire. I think it's delusional and it terrifies me. I also want to know, Dame, who in the heck are they actually interviewing? Guys discussing Rolexes at Carmel football games?
That's a great question. I mean, there's a number of different people I think that could get this wrong from different perspectives. I mean, you often tell the story about how you got started in the industry and somebody making a ton of money, but they just weren't saving anything. They weren't going to come anywhere close to it. But there's also people who are on the other end of the spectrum that think it's going to be okay, but it's probably going to be a lot tougher than they think. So I think this is a chance to be an equal opportunity miss when it comes to judging the confidence that you should have in your retirement.
Kristen, Savannah said something interesting this morning. She said, I feel like I always hear people say, oh, I'm never going to be able to retire, much more than she ever hears people express confidence. And I was like, I agree. Wonder if that's a Midwestern thing. Do you ever hear people talk confidently about retirement in sort of a dismissive way?
I don't think so, but I think we hear about it in different ways. Like, I think Rolex Man thinks that he's on track to retire.
I mean, technically he might be.
I don't know. Yeah.
Can I give you another piece of data about Rolex Guy?
Yes.
Do you know Rolex Guy?
No, I just visually observed him. Okay. He looked to be looked good at a late 50s. Like he looked my age and at 47, and he was in his late 50s, I believe. And he was he had a tattoo sleeve.
Nice.
And I was like, man, there's a lot happening here. There's a tremendous amount happening here.
That doesn't feel as Carmel-esque to me.
There's just a lot happening in this world. If you see me throughout the show, those who watch on YouTube, you might see that I've got a roll of $100 bills.
Or does he?
It's a squeeze ball. It's a promotional product that your money line's on it. Anyway, we got these this week. Dame, do you like a good the perfect stress ball?
Yes.
I do too. Kristen, I don't feel like you've got enough stress to have a stress ball.
No, I fidget. Like it's not up here. I brought it downstairs last night, but I have a pen that turns and I will just sit there and turn it. I think that's my equivalent.
You guys, I'm working out a bit because I think I'm doing comedy again this December with my cousin. Mm-hmm. Maybe later in the show we'll get into it. We're a little weird right there to go. So I'll have to dip my toes back in. You tell me when you think I'm into the bit. All right, let's do the show. We'll see what happens. Dame, are you going to do the old checklist thing? When are you doing that? Are you doing that? Are you doing that?
We talked about doing kind of introing everything in the first segment, and then we could start running through the checklist.
Great. Show prep. 3, 2, 1. This week on the Pete the Planner Show, we answer your money questions. Here's how the show works. You email us askpete@petetheplanner.com. That's askpete@petetheplanner.com. And here's what will happen. We will possibly talk about your question and answer it on the air. By we, I don't mean French for yes. I mean Damian Dunn and Kristen Elanius, my two illustrious co-hosts. Kristen, hello.
Hello.
Damian, hello.
Good day.
All right. Kristen, every year, at least one, now two, retirement confidence surveys are released, which means a group of people get together. They ask a bunch of people how confident they are in their ability to retire. And it's always stunning because there's always way too much confidence in people's ability to retire. So what does this say? That we know, this is what we do. We know the average stability of the average American. And we now, because of these surveys, know what is purported to be the average confidence of the average American. There is a delta between the two. There's reality and there's perception. And so much so here, the data points, Kristen, Americans are feeling more optimistic about retirement than they have in years. Only 21% now say it will take a miracle to retire securely, down from 41% in 2021. Kristen, holy cow. Only 21% thinks it's going to take a miracle, and in 2021, it was 41%. Do you feel like what's worse, the 41% in 2021 because of COVID? Did that skew that up? Or do you think, like I think, that people are missing the boat here? Because it's more than 21%.
Indeed, it is. And actually, I think the thing that's most concerning for me is how quickly we change our minds, because your retirement confidence should not have changed that much due to those economic factors. And I perceive these survey results to actually be more indicative of what prospective retirees, whatever timeline they're on there, how they feel about short-term stability at large. So like to your point, in 2021, we're dealing with COVID-like ramifications in the economy. That's influencing people's responses. Whereas right now, we're not dealing with those things. We're dealing with an up market. We're dealing with inflation coming back down, and people are feeling more confident. But those things actually should have no impact on how you feel about your own retirement security.
Dame, 50% of respondents said recent market results made investing look easy. That's interesting, because on some level, Dame, you could say, well, just buy the S&P 500, which is quite literally the easiest thing you can do. You would have had great success, and it both is and looks easy. But should that actually speak to the confidence to retire successfully when people aren't putting enough money away for retirement?
No, absolutely not. By the way, not investment advice. So whatever we just said there or mention about different investment opportunities or options, not investment advice. Look at me sticking to our guns on being responsible. No, it has nothing to do with that. Investing can be absolutely pretty darn easy if you go about it a certain way, but that's not just as simple as, oh, the market's going up, I'm going to throw cash at it, because it's a pendulum, man. It swings back and forth all the time. And if you aren't, the best investment strategy is not going to outpace putting enough money away to make sure that you get to that point. It's a combination of the two. Investment returns can absolutely make, give you the gravy if you want it, but if you're not putting enough in there, you're going to have to be way outside of your risk tolerance, if you know what that is, to try and make that up. And then the chances of you failing increase even more, because you're taking risks, and chances of it not working out and swinging the other way a little bit harder than you thought it was going to, or that you could have tolerated, go up a bunch. So you got to make sure you're putting enough away and pair it with reasonable investment strategies.
Kristen, what else contributes to this in your estimation?
That's a great question. I am concerned about the role that the average American feels like Social Security will or won't play in their retirement. And I also think there's this collective, I don't know what word I want to use, but we hear it all the time where people say, well, I'll have to work in some capacity. So is that being reflected here? And the three of us have spoken several times about how frankly, we loathe that strategy, because sometimes the circumstances around you don't allow you to continue to work, even if that is every intention that you had. I think those could be two big contributors here.
I think you're onto something, Kristen, because the more I talk to people outside of what we do, specifically when I'm just talking with my friends, the definition of retirement is changing for a lot of people, and what they anticipate the later decades of their life is going to look like, and what they're going to have to do to make it work. And good, bad, or indifferent, people seem to be confident or comfortable with the outlook right now as they're talking about. Now, will they feel quite as sure of themselves as they creep into their late 50s, early 60s, and they've got a few more decades on their bodies? Who knows? But I would hate to right now give myself that out and say, this is how it's going to work, when you don't know if you're going to be able to pull that off. Make the sacrifices now, the financial sacrifices now, if at all possible, to give yourself the opportunity to not have to do physical anything, labor of sort, to generate income in retirement.
How much do you think that the increase in net worth due to primary housing has to do with this?
Man, I hope it has very little.
That's a great question. Inside baseball. Last night I was doing some personal financial calculations, and I was just looking at some stuff. Then all of a sudden I remembered the equity in my house, and I added it back in, and it created some different number. And then to that point, Kristen, I really went, man, I really didn't do much other than put myself in that position. I got to go back to the first number I calculated. But to your point, I wonder how many people don't go back to the first number.
I don't think it's an insignificant number. I think seeing this number of this is what my primary residence is worth, and whether you're super subconsciously or maybe only just a little bit using that to help you feel more confident about your retirement, it's got to be a factor.
So, Dame, I know for this entire show, we're going to go through different elements that a person can check themselves and say, am I doing this? Have I thought about this? And then we will grant you confidence status. Is that how we're doing this?
Yeah, I think so. We've got a list of it's like 8 or 9 different things that you're going to run through and check off. I'd encourage you to start thinking about them now to see how many of them you can pair up with us as we're going down the list. And if you can nod your head up and down, very good, C+, you're probably on a good route for retirement confidence.
2 quick things, maybe. Number 1, I find when these sorts of conversations come up, as our listeners listen to this today, I don't want them to try to trick a one-sided conversation. I don't want them to hear and then they equivocate and like, well, I guess I'm kind of doing that. No, make it binary. You either are or you're not. But like, because making yourself feel better, you're not making us feel better. I don't want to say we don't care. We do care, but we can't hear you because of how radio works. You either doing the things we are saying or you're not. And if you're not, don't say you are, because then you only mess up yourself, right? There's another point I was going to make, but I'm going to start making it at the beginning of the next segment. I'm going to say this. I'm going to ask Kristen, and I'm going to ask Dame, what percentage of Americans max out their 401k? They're going to tell me that next without the research, right here on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. Boy, oh boy.
I really didn't think about the housing thing until it was coming out of my mouth, and now I kind of hate it.
Why do you hate it? It was a good point.
No, but I mean, like, because I think it is a good point.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Guys, at my gym, there's this, I've told you about the guy that just drives all sorts of crazy cars at my gym. Have I told you about this guy?
I don't know.
This morning, he had a McLaren
The lady
this morning.
you think
Nice.
has had a baby.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. So this guy drives all sorts of wild exotic cars. Like this morning, he rolled in a McLaren, and he's probably 40-ish, maybe younger. Kind of a stocky guy, beard, young fella. Had a sweatshirt on the other day that just said "Cash flow is king," and I was like, respect. I don't care about cars, but that's lovely. It's interesting.
I think go ahead, Kristen.
I have an important question.
Sure.
Did you know that it was a McLaren, or did you have to look it up?
That is such a great question. I parked catty corner to it. And as I walked by it, I got up close because I didn't have my glasses on. And I looked at the cursive writing and it said McLaren or whatever it is. And I was like, I'm going to try to impress Dame on the show today.
Yeah. I mean, when you said McLaren, I was like, all right, Pete. And then I was like, you probably recognized the logo or Google it or whatever.
If you showed me 38 logos and one of them was the McLaren logo, 0% chance to do it. By the way, when I started to tell that story, Dame, you know how these monitors work and Zoom calls and StreamYard. I'm staring deep into your eyes, looking for a little reaction, and I got it. I saw a little nod of appreciation, and I feel so much better about myself.
Do you think that guy meal preps?
That's a great question.
Not for himself.
So there's a meal prep fridge where people use a different service that you can walk out of the gym, you order your food, it's delivered on Mondays, and people can grab their meal prep, and their names are like printed out on their things, like Dave Ferguson and like Jacob Wabengoss or whatever these names are. And there was a name on Monday. It was Money Black. And I was like, was that my arch nemesis? Like, who is Money Black and what did they order?
I bet it wasn't Herculean.
No, it was not. We'll get there in 9 minutes or so.
No.
I can't think of a good way to work into the bit, so we might just avoid it. But here's how the bit kind of came to life. I was doing a speaking engagement yesterday at a wellness conference, and I was making a reference to something very emotionally taxing. And I was like, man, it's a little early to talk about this. It's 2 p.m. Maybe I should have waited closer to happy hour. And I said, who are we kidding? This is a wellness conference. They're just going to give you V8. And then it got me into this idea that when you're a kid, I didn't go into this on my speaking gig about money, but I started thinking about on the way home, when you're a kid, how excited you were for your parents to buy juice. Like you just like the various juice in your fridge, apple juice, orange juice, Sunny Delight. You had mixed feelings about Kool-Aid. My mom was big into Crystal Light. But in that one time they buy V8 before you know what it is. And you look at it, you're like, a metal cylinder? Are you kidding me? And we can open this up and you pour it and you taste it and you look at your parents and you're like, what is wrong with you?
What are you doing?
What is wrong? It is the most heinous. V8 is not a sponsor of the program. V8, when you're a kid, is the worst thing in the world.
Correct.
I love their commercials, though.
I don't know. When they put all the vegetables into the cup? Is that
people would slap their fork. I could have had a V8 smack. You remember those?
I don't know. It sounds good though. Anyway, I got to work it out a little bit. The audience has got to be the right age. It can't be Kristen's age.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Kristen, do you get the VA reference?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Rick Swink says enter V8 splash. Yeah, that's when they actually added real fruit juice to it. Mm-hmm. You weren't just drinking celery but then you get old enough that you just make Bloody Marys out of V8 and it all levels out.
That was the joke I was expecting was this who's having me drink Bloody Mary mix or whatever that is.
We'll get there. In 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show every year. Retirement confidence survey comes out, and every year I say, what are you talking about? Is the average American expresses way too much confidence in their ability to retire successfully. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, what a downer. I'm so glad I'm listening to this program. But here's the challenge, Gary. We have data, and the data says people should not be confident about their ability to retire, not only because Social Security is arguably in trouble, but because the average savings rate is well below what it should be. You can also look at things like bankruptcy rates. You can also look at things like average credit card balance in America. You can look at all sorts of things that have the people answering with confidence looking a bit delusional. Before the break, I looked at my trusted colleagues, and then I looked at Kristen and Dame, and I said, Kristen, Dame, what percentage of Americans max out their 401k every single year. It is a guessing game. I don't believe either of them Googled this during the commercial. I have now been talking for 1 minute and 13 seconds. Kristen, what is your guess? What percentage of Americans max out their 401k?
I think that it's 9%.
9%. Dame. Ooh, he has consternation. What did you have for dinner last night, Dame?
Only because my guess was going to be really close to Kristen's, and I hate it when there's 11.
14%. So we do a little research around here at Your Moneyline, yourmoneyline.com. That is well in line with a stat I've been using for the last month or so on some research. 14% of a workforce is financially stable. What do I mean by that? I mean very financially stable. Maxes out 401k, maxes out HSA, has a full emergency fund. 14% of any employee population. Okay. 22% of any employee population is in some form of financial crisis. Some form. From living paycheck to paycheck, to being deep in credit card debt, to not having an emergency fund, to dealing with something even bigger and badder and worse than that. That suggests that 14% of people are absolutely on track to retire, theoretically, and probably some percentage just below that don't need to max out their 401k to be financially stable. Dane, what do you say of that logic?
In general, probably close. I hate throwing a blanket over all businesses saying that, just because of the different demographics that are made up based on the business type and what they do and who they might employ. In general, though, 14% plus a little bit more on top of that because of individual circumstances gets us to, in your mind, what, like 17, 18, maybe as high as 20?
Maybe as high as 20, but then you have to subtract a little, because you and I both, actually three of us have experienced this. People maxing out their 401ks, but they spend so much money because they make so much money that they're dependent on their income more than they should be, and they're not going to retire successfully.
So you're saying that the previous confidence index from 2021, that 21 or 20 was that percent of Americans thought they were on track?
41% thought they were, 41% thought they needed a miracle in 2021. 41% thought they needed a miracle.
Yeah, other end of the curve.
Yeah, I think that's more accurate. I think it's 61% of people actually need a miracle.
A miracle?
Well, a miracle of behavior change. I mean, they gotta get started. Oh, Dame's scratching his head.
Yeah, I mean, what if we're missing a bit of the picture here? What if it's they think they're going to be able to retire and maintain the same level of lifestyle, but in reality they can't. They're gonna have to cut a few things back, but they'll still be able to retire. Like there's a podcast I listen to that talks about when they're going through retirement planning. I know everybody's clamoring for the name of this podcast because they talk about retirement planning, blah, blah, blah. They introduce this concept of having a minimum floor of dignity with the amount of income that you can pull out of your investments. And it's going to cover, housing, food, healthcare, just what you need to survive and do in the way that you are at that point. That number is going to look significantly different for a lot of people based off what they think retirement's going to entail for them, whether that's traveling all around the country to go see kids, or, vacationing themselves, or joining a local country club to play golf 5 days a week, or whatever it is. The amount of money that somebody needs to retire successfully may be different than the amount of money they need to be able to retire and be what's the right, not comfortable, but just
to be able to retire, right? Yeah. Like my IBJ comments about this week. Like you got to the finish line of retirement. Guess what? It's not actually a finish line. The finish line is getting through retirement. It's like buying a house, getting a mortgage to buy a house is an accomplishment. The accomplishment is paying off the house. right? It's the other end of it. Kristen, help me with this. What are the top fears that people have in regards to this? I mean, if the people are shaken with their confidence, what is allowing them to not get their head around it?
As far as the successful part of retirement,
Well, why are people worried that they're going to be unable to retire? Like, what is it that triggers something in a person that says, "Uh-oh, you're in trouble"? What are those elements in the economy that has them flipped out?
see, I don't know that it's necessarily anything that's going on in their day to day. I think the thing that scares and concerns people the most about their retirement confidence is the no go. We talk about those 3 phases of retirement. I think it's the conversations, particularly people who are approaching retirement and they're seeing it potentially in like their parents, to see how expensive the end of retirement can be. I think that the increase in those expenses that we've seen is something that has people more concerned than they've been about, can I do this?
Yeah, let me actually. This is a great question. I'd love to get both of your opinions on this. I've got a presentation I've got to give in a couple of weeks on one of the components is HSAs, and as both of you know, there's a loophole with HSAs that allow you to take money out, penalty free, tax free, for expenses that you've incurred potentially like decades before, if you can justify that expense while you were still maintaining that HSA. It's there. Government knows it's there. I don't know if they'll ever change it, but somebody could do that right now. Do you think it's potentially, I don't know if dangerous is the right word, but is it a good idea to let people know of that loophole? Or do you just kind of keep it quiet and say, those dollars have to be used, have to be reserved for health care expenses, unless it's a break glass in case of emergency kind of situation?
Damn, I can't believe we're talking about this. It's for 20 years ish. I've kind of not been telling people about that.
Oops, sorry.
No. I'm not. I feel like if you offer that as an option, someone goes, "Oh, okay. Well, yeah. One of the problems is I couldn't tap into this, and now I can tap into this." And they very quickly forget that they're going to run out of money faster. Like somehow that disappears. Call it malpractice, but I have conveniently not told people about that loophole for a very long time.
That's a perfect example of how knowledge can be power, but knowledge can also be poison. And I would not be telling someone about that.
It's the ultimate Valentine's card. Message right there coming up after the break. What are the things you need to get done in order to have confidence in your ability to retire? Right here on the Pete the Planner Show. This portion of the program brought to you by Indiana 529. That's my Indiana529.com. Damien, picture this. It is March 12th, 2009. I'm wearing the wrong shoes, standing in a delivery room, waiting for my child to give their first breath onto the planet as my wife lays there in some amount of distress, and I am opening a 529 account on my phone. That's what everyone should do. They should be present, and they should open an account for their college education of their child. As soon as you think about it, not only is it an amazing tax benefit for Indiana residents, but then if people welcome your baby into the world and they want to give you things like onesies and diaper bags, you say, pump the brakes. Just put money in my 529 via UGift. Here's the code. And yeah, I did wear the wrong shoes when I had to stand there for 9 hours of labor. That's myindiana529.com. Be sure to go there and check out the terms and conditions because they do apply. This program also brought to you by Herculean Meal Prep. Damien, I tried the Hawaiian Burger Bowl.
Oh yeah, how'd that
this
go?
Week. It blew my face off. I loved it. I felt like I was on the island of Hawaii.
Aloha.
It was so delicious. And I got an email last night, not as a endorser of Herculean Meal Prep, but as a proud customer of Herculean Meal Prep. Now their chicken is cooked sous vide. So what that means for those that don't know is that the chicken is cooked perfectly via a process called sous vide, and it makes the chicken juicy and delicious. And today I'm going to enjoy that with buffalo mac and cheese. If you went out to the freezer right now, you will see that I made a meal run earlier this week, and the entire fridge/freezer is filled with Herculean meal prep meals. They're frozen. They're not fresh, so you got some time to enjoy them. I will also say they are real ingredients that taste like real food. And you look at it and you're like, no, yeah, that is a pineapple, friend. I'm going to put it in my face. That's HerculeanMealPrep.com. Tell them Pete the Planner sent you. I've been working on my ads. How's it going, Greg?
It's a good one.
Their Hawaiian burger bowl.
Yeah.
So good. It's the yaki sauce, teriyaki. I shortened it.
I like it.
Time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, today is definitely buffalo mac and cheese. Anyway. Dane, what are you doing this weekend? Uh-oh.
I have
half a cow, right? What are you doing?
No, we just got our cow back from the butcher. Not that.
How's his health? How's he doing?
He's just chilling.
Oh man, Pete is not going to sponsor this.
No, we have events every night this weekend, tonight, Saturday, and Sunday. So it's going to be a busy weekend. Plus,
James, your little bourbon club have any bottles coming out soon or any barrels coming out?
I just got 3 last night. I will send you the screenshot of what I picked up.
I mean, I would have loved to. Hey, I have the opportunity, but yes, send me a screenshot.
There might be one left.
Okay, well, send me some information after the show. Kristen, you are expecting a child in some 20-some days, correct?
Correct.
Her name is Maggie.
Yes.
And she's very excited to be part of your life in a more substantial way. What are you doing this weekend?
Last minute baby prep because we have a growth scan on the 16th. So getting a little nervous about an early arrival for Miss Mags.
Kind of a rude way to refer to your kid. Growth scan.
Yeah,
she might be large. You guys want to guess what she's going to weigh on Tuesday?
Nope.
Oh, we've got a pool.
Why?
What? You do?
Yeah, some of the other YML employees, we've got a little pool girl. No, we don't.
I get nervous.
I do have a question
about children. So here's how it works. 2 people love each other. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
So you said I know you were joking. Ha ha ha. You wore the wrong shoes in labor. Do you guys want to take bets on whether he wears cowboy boots?
Oh, he's 100% wearing cowboy boots.
Yeah,
it's not even a bet.
I think he'll come to regret that decision.
Can you tell him about this? Can you tell him what I did wrong?
I can, but he'll argue that he has stand-in boots. So we'll see.
I accidentally, not on purpose, wore the same ringer tee to the birth of both of my children. And so it forever was named the birthing shirt.
That's funny.
Yeah. Kristen, could we have a little plan here of what you send Dame and I when you go into labor, like an emoji, an alert, like what, like send a skywriter over our homes. Like, how are we to know as 2 of the 5 people involved with this situation, how are we going to know that there's a situation happening?
I mean, the plan was to just kind of like hard launch and be like, she's here.
First of all, that is the most you thing in the world.
We've not posted a single thing about it on social media at all. This show is the closest to like public acknowledgement.
Closest to that people listen to the show.
That was
people were to listen to the show.
No, I mean like people we like really like that are closer to us in real life.
Yes, understood.
And that's the plan is just a hard launch of like, surprise, this is Margaret.
So we're not getting an emoji. Can we get an emoji? I need an emoji.
It depends. It depends on how long and how crabby I am.
Well, that's been going on for a while.
I mean, yeah.
Can Pete have a song made up on Fiverr of Maggie's theme song or introduction so that as soon as she's born, her dad can just hit play on his phone and it just Maggie.
No, she'll have to hear the Go Cubs Go song because that's
No.
at
Okay.
this point the only thing she's gonna recognize outside the womb. So
Yeah.
All right. Well, no emoji. I thought we were going to have a whole plan. I have water boiling. I've got plenty of
Clean towel.
towels and a
Yeah.
go bag. So thanks. My
like
little
I said,
house
it depends. It depends
Yeah.
on how long.
I can be there in just over an hour. So
How about as your employer? Like if this is happening while on the job for liability reasons, I'm going to need like an emoji. I think the law states.
Kristen just disappears from work for 3 days.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Put a donkey in the like your Mother Mary traveling to, a manger. That would help us.
I will use Chat GPT for good and come up with an image that lets you know.
In
Wait,
3.
no.
Oh, yes, please. Go ahead.
Send you pressure, but when Mrs. Advice was in labor with our first, I took her into work to finish a couple things up before we took her to the hospital. So
Hey, if you're in early labor, they say that's best. Stay distracted, stay in an environment that you know. It'll be fine.
I don't know. I just feel like this is our opportunity to reach a labor agreement.
Mm.
3, 2, 1. Back on to the Pete the Planner show. If you're thinking about retiring, damn, it just occurred to me sometimes when you listen to radio shows on the radio on the weekends in your local town, and someone says, you got to complete this sentence for me. Someone says, if you're thinking about retiring, go ahead, go.
Give us a call.
Don't call us. I don't want to talk to you about this.
Oh,
That is the best. That is so true. Anyway, if you're thinking about retiring, let's just make sure that mentally you can get through some of this checklist we're going to give you right now. And if you can, then yeah, you should have high confidence. If not, stop lying to yourself. How's that, Kristen? Was that aggressive? I feel aggressive coming out of the break.
it was a little aggressive, but also sometimes you need a little tough love.
Okay, speaking of tough love, Dame, my son.
A number of things you need to know.
Okay.
Different categories. First one's going to have to do with income and expenses. Do you know how much it costs you to live per month right now? Yes or no?
I mean, you're asking the listener. This is rhetorical.
Yes, this is rhetorical. I was waiting for you to chime in.
Kristen, here's the thing. I think some people trip up on this one. I think this just eliminated 63% of people.
I think that's actually a little conservative. I think I would say 3 out of 4 people at least do not know what it takes to live.
The good news is, and maybe this was Dame's point he was making in an earlier segment before I probably stepped on whatever he was trying to say, is, okay, overcome this, learn it, and then you're on to the next one that you can then solve. All hope is not lost. You don't necessarily need a miracle, but you do need to get your stuff together. Off to point number 2, Dame.
How much do you actually need to have saved? What's that? We've heard it called retirement number. How much do you need saved to cover that nut?
Yeah, we just wiped out everyone else. No one's left in the game. Kristen?
I don't know if I buy that one as much,
Fair.
anyways. I think that depends on your age. I think it's pretty hard if we're talking to someone in their 20s, 30s, maybe even their 40s, depending on what their career trajectory has looked like. They might not have as much confidence around this number, but it's still important to kind of be checking in on it along the way. I don't think all hope is lost if you don't know.
Here's why I'm skeptical of this one. Anytime you ask someone how much they need to save for retirement, they give you a round number. And that's how I know that people don't know.
Yeah.
I need $1 million and my house paid off. I'm like, really? That seems convenient.
I agree with that.
Maybe they round up.
I don't know. Next one.
Do you know what your Social Security check's going to look like? Not at just one age, at a couple different ages.
Feeling delusional. Kristen, I think a lot of people have this one.
You think they know this one?
Yeah, I do. I don't know why.
I think they do. And I think they know, but I think they know the earlier age. Like at 65, I can start drawing my Social Security and it's going to be X dollars a month. I don't think that there's as much critical thinking about, well, what if I waited and got my full or even a larger benefit because I waited?
What do you think, Dame?
I think that percentage of people that know this is much lower than you're giving it credit for. I think there's a lot of people because the Social Security Administration doesn't send out statements anymore. Maybe like once in a blue moon, you've got to go and create an account and check it out. No, I don't think nearly as many people know that as possible. I will put a little addendum on this one as well. If you've got a pension, do you know what the pension options are for you as well?
Next one.
Will you have a mortgage or other debt when you retire?
Oh, man. I think most people know this.
Okay.
I think. Kristen?
I agree with that, but I don't think that they know what that means for their retirement success.
There she is.
Yeah. Number 5.
This is great.
Do you have plans to have the right insurance depending on when you want to retire?
I'll go back to what Kristen just said. I don't think they know what that means in relation to them retiring. I'm going to go 22% of people have this in the bag that they know. It doesn't mean they have or they will get, but I think 22% of people know. Kristen, high or low?
I think that that's a low number, but it's hard because I think most people know. Again, I think Medicare is this big milestone for pre-retirees, but that's not the whole picture. If you still have outstanding debt, is there an insurance policy, like a life insurance policy you should still be paying on? What does that long-term care conversation look like? My perception is that for the average American, it's my medical's covered because that's such a large conversation. But I think if we broaden that scope, you might be right.
Damn, where are we at now?
By the way, I'm hoping this is becoming clear for a lot of people that retirement is pretty darn complicated if you want to make sure you're doing it right at this point. It's not just something as simply accumulating money and then seeing how it all shakes out. There are a lot of moving pieces. And that's why when we tell you to go talk to a financial professional about trying to make sure you're on track for retirement or how you're going to figure this stuff out, because there's a lot of stuff going on. Okay, dismount soapbox. Number 6. Do you know how much income your savings is going to produce safely each year?
No chance.
No way. And even if they use the 4% rule, it's not necessarily like in the bag, right? So 15% of people know that.
I bet it's even less than that if we took all working Americans. Now, I could argue for maybe that number upticks, and I don't know what that balance then looks like as we get closer to pre-retirement, but I don't think the average American has any clue what a safe withdrawal rate on their qualified accounts looks like.
Have you done more than just dream about retirement? Do you actually know what you want it to look like, what you anticipate retirement being, and how that's going to play into your financial situation?
This makes me want to have my friend Dan Vito on the show. Do you remember Dan?
I do.
Studied sort of retirement lifestyles, lives out in the Bay Area. He's just an incredibly handsome man. Really good at what he does, which is also, there's value in that. And he studies this, right? Like he studies how people think and plan about what they're going to do in retirement. And I think his argument is, unless you've done this, you're not even close to ready. We're going to get him back on the show. I'll have to reach out to him.
It'd be a really interesting conversation.
I'm going to go with a lot of people don't have this one done. Kristen, how do you think about it?
I disagree. I think this is the thing people are doing. I think especially again, as we're aging, I think the average American thinks they know what they want their retirement to look like, but doesn't know the path to get there. I don't want to work after 65, or I don't want to have to worry about medical expenses in retirement or long-term care. Like, I think they have these big milestones that look like success, but our roadmap is the problem.
You know what occurs to me as we're having this discussion here, and I said it at the beginning, all you got to do is start answering these questions. If it takes 5 minutes to answer one, if it takes 5 months to answer another, work your way through it and your life will get better. Like, this isn't even watch what you eat for 9 months and work out every day. It's not that. It's get an answer. It might take you 5 minutes. It might take you 5 months. And that will get you more prepared for retirement. Dame, is there one more you want to slap us with?
Have you made sure that you don't need help from a financial advisor? If you get to the end of this list, chances are your perspective might change a little bit.
So it's a good one there. All right. We are not doubters in your ability to retire. We are doubters in your preparedness to retire. There's a slight difference there. If you can get through those questions, you can get to retirement. Coming up after the break, we get to biggest waste of money of the week and the news right here on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. Yeah, Dan Vito is awesome. I haven't talked to him in years. I have a good story about him that I'll save it if I can get him on the air and see if he remembers it the same way I do. It's iconic.
Nice.
All right. I feel pretty good about this week's Blom.
Mm-hmm.
Dame, I want to. What?
She was like, I was like, it's probably a picture of the car you saw in the parking lot this morning. Be my guess.
No. What's a McLaren cost? Do it a white one. Does that matter?
The white ones are extra expensive.
That's what I was thinking. How much is it?
And it's I mean, somewhere between like $200,000 and $500,000 for most of them, probably.
Such a range.
Well, I mean, I don't even know all the models anymore. The thing with McLarens is they all look really, really similar at this point. So
that was what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Tonight is boys' night. The daughter's cheering at a game in Kentucky. And my wife's going to watch. So young Theodore and I are doing what men do.
Steak,
potato, and a nice Cabernet. No, we're talking about life, love, and learning.
It's boys' night in my house as well. We're going to an event. We're going to a place down in the big city, and it's going to be like duck pin bowling, that kind of stuff.
Man, Dame, you and I should get together with the boys and be men for a night.
I'm curious as to what you think that would entail.
Well, Ted and I will get up there. We'll have pocket flashlights. Be ready to defend ourselves.
It's hilarious.
With more than nail scratches.
Sounds like a great time.
We'll all load into your sports car and ride around, all four of us.
Your clothing will be tactical.
Yes, fashion camo.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, let's do a thing. How excited are you, Dame?
I'm really excited.
Okay.
It's just my normal state of being. Happy, excited.
Can't you tell?
This is the best. Okay. Let's do some things with our mouths. Talking. In 3, 2, 1. This week's biggest waste of money of the week, right here on the Pete the Planner Show, is Pamela's Pickles. Pamela Anderson's reinvention continues with the unexpected limited release of Pamela's Pickles, based on a recipe from her cookbook, I Love You, Recipes from the Heart. They were created with lifestyle brand Flamingo Estate and contain dill, mustard, garlic, dried rose petals, pink peppercorns, guajillo chili, and smoked sea salt. The result is a spicy, herbaceous, and crunchy snack. Dane, before we get going here, it is worth, I always like disclosures on a show like this.
Yes.
My bedroom wall consisted of, at one point in my life,
A big poster of pickles.
poster of the purveyor of pickles, Pamela Anderson.
Yeah.
In her, I was going to use the word, I'm not going to use a title role of CJ Parker on Baywatch. So just to say that I have a vested interest in her success. Kristen, how much are these pickles?
A single jar?
Single jar of pickles.
A single jar of pickles is $11.
Okay. Damien.
Can I ask why she's sitting on the floor?
Because she doesn't want to drop the pickles. She's got Tom's cowboy boots on too in the picture.
Yeah.
Well, Tom's got some answering to do if she's got Tom's boots on.
Nah.
You said 11?
I did.
Kristen said 11.
Boy, but that seems really like a great guess. I'll go over and say $15.
Wow, you guys not good at this. $38.
$38 for a jar of pickles?
$38 for Pammy's pickles. Kristen, will you ask Dane what's in the news?
Dame, what's in the news this week?
Bureau of Labor Statistics released a preliminary report this week that the U.S. economy created 911,000 fewer jobs than originally announced for the year ending March 2025. That's the biggest revision going back to 2000, and it provides evidence that the job market was more stagnant than first understood when Joe Biden was still in the White House. Though a downward revision to July's figures prompted President Trump to fire the head of the BLS, raising concerns among economists about the agency's ability to gather data going forward. Updates to the numbers are common.
Kristen.
I have a question. How does this happen? Like, forgive me, but like, isn't that their job?
I feel like it's an antiquated process.
Fair.
For sure. Dame, how are you? 1 to 10, 10 being tinfoil hat, we didn't land on the moon. 1 being there's nothing to see here. Where are you at conspiracy theory wise on this one?
5. I mean, it's just,
yeah, 4.
I'm not getting wound up about it. I mean, this is a pretty big revision, but they do happen all the time. And the thing is, you said it's antiquated process. It absolutely is, because it changes as more data, more reliable data comes in, like state unemployment numbers that may take a while to get calculated and reported. So, I mean, we're looking way far behind us at this point. So I don't know. I'm not too cranked up.
I think when I saw this report and then the producer price index on Wednesday, I believe that's why I thought a 0.5-point reduction in the rate was possible from the Fed this next week. But then the CPI ticked up. Dane, what else is in the news?
A new Gallup poll shows capitalism's popularity is slipping in the United States. Just 54% of adults now view it positively, the lowest level since Gallup began asking 15 years ago, back in 2010. That number was closer to 60%. Support for socialism has stayed steady at around 39%, but this year, for the first time, a majority of Democrats, 66%, say they view socialism favorably, while only 42% gave capitalism a thumbs up. Republicans still overwhelmingly back capitalism at 74%.
Like socialism, like government owning shares of publicly traded companies, like that level of socialism, or what do you mean?
You mean like it's going on right now? I don't know. It's just an article, Pete. I only know what they put.
Oh, you don't know what they asked? Who is this Gallup anyway?
I don't know. I think they ride from town on a horse or town to town on a horse.
Yeah, look, I'm a capitalist. We're back to disclosures. I had a picture of Pam Anderson on my walls as a kid as a warm-blooded American male.
And Gordon Gekko next to her.
Cut for the capitalism. I don't want to go that's disturbing. I think it is definitely representative of people feeling like they're unseen in the economy. And I can understand that.
Yeah.
Kristen, how do you think about this? You're a big capitalist.
Yeah, I'm really into this stuff. My first thing is who did they ask? Who did they ask for these things? Back to the retirement survey. I don't know who's being asked these questions, but also, do people understand the questions they're being asked?
Wonder if the question is, do you feel like, okay, so is it straight up, do you support capitalism, or do you think it's something like, is capitalism currently serving you, or something like that? Because I think the question matters.
I do think the question matters, and I feel like it probably leans more toward the latter. But also, do people really know what that means?
That's a great question. Dan, what do you think? Do you think it's a question issue, or do you think it's a who are they serving issue, or do you feel like that is true, the sentiment of what's happening?
I think socialism is becoming a lot more popular in circles. And I mean, just look at, say, New York City, for example, what's happening with the projected next mayor there. And it's going to have a wave of potentially more socialistic programs they're going to try to be implemented over the course of that term if it actually comes to fruition. So it seems to be really popular with folks that are getting interviewed on the street. So again, small sample that you're talking to, but we'll see.
We will see, right? Like that, it will be interesting one way or the other. Like we'll see. It has nothing to do with us as humble Midwesterners. Dane, what else is in the news?
You're going to like this one, Pete. Robinhood, the popular brokerage behind the meme stock craze, is rolling out its own social media network. The new feature, called Robinhood Social, will let users post their trades, follow other investors, and even track the moves of public figures like Mark Zuckerberg and former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. And when I say moves, I mean financial moves, not like where they're at in the country at any given time. That'd be creepy. The platform looks a lot like X or Reddit, but with one big twist. The trades are verified, and users can see exactly when someone entered or exited a position. And you'll also be able to check the track record of posters, including their profit rate and other stats. Robinhood plans to launch a beta early next year with about 10,000 users. The move comes as the company rides a hot streak. Profits are up, it's expanding into crypto and banking, and its stock has tripled this year since joining the S&P 500.
Well, I guess haters will hate. Who I am. Dame, would you put, like, we talk about our investments like vaguely around here. Would you publicly disclose your positions on something like this?
I don't see any benefit of doing that.
That's how, there's no danger, I don't think, but there's no benefit.
Yeah, but we're not in that demographic. I think there are some people that are going to try and use this as another almost form of competition to look at how good I am.
Kristen, I mean, you're young. Would you put your positions out on the socials?
I don't see any reason why. I'm not like a day trader.
It's true. All right, friends, we did it. We got through an entire show again. If you want to watch the show, watch it. It's at youtube.com/Pete the Planner. Of course, we live stream Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern. If you want to listen on the radio, like you are right now, be one of our affiliates. I don't know how you be an affiliate. Anyway, or just listen to the podcast. Any good vibes are all this in the budget. I'm Pete the Planner. This is Pete the Planner Show. I haven't shouted out our particular affiliates in a really long time, but to be honest with you, I don't know the list of them right now. I'd have to track them down.
I thought about that while I was traveling the other day. I thought, man, we haven't done an affiliate shout out in a long time.
I saw our mutual friend who works for the Indianapolis Indians, Dame, who I'm related to, and you went to high school with this week.
I wondered if he would be there, and that was one of the reasons I really thought about going down.
And he wanted for me to tell you hello. And when he leaves the ballpark on Sundays to head home to see his family, he turns on our show so he can listen to you and me and Kristen.
I don't believe that for a second.
I don't know whether I believe it either, but he said it, and he's not a liar. Also handsome. I know a lot of handsome people.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Kristen, you going to labor this weekend? Send me a what emoji? Go.
A donkey.
There it is. Dame, if you go into labor this weekend, send me pictures. What is that though?
It's the shrug emoji. It's like,
yeah. All right. Let's be done here.
okay.
Stay getting money. I wasn't ready to hit the end stream, so I'm going to say it again. Stay getting money.